Hi everybody, welcome again to Ask a Car Nerd, where you send us questions for car nerds and we do our best to try to answer them. This is a special coronavirus locked in the house edition, so I'm going to treat myself to a little beverage while we get going here. Today's question comes from Teddy, and Teddy asks us, he says, "Hello, car nerd," which in this case means me. "Are there cars other than the Ford Edsel, named for Edsel Ford, named for a family member of the car company that manufactured them? Thanks." You know what, Teddy? Hell yeah, there are. There's actually quite a number of these, so, get ready. The Ford Edsel is a pretty famous one, but it's actually not the most famous one. I can pretty much guarantee you've heard of the most famous one, even though you may not realize it was named after a family member. Now, there were a few others. There was Opel Adam, named for, of course, Adam Opel, who is, of course, the head of the Opel Car Corporation. And then there's also the Henry J, after Henry J. KAISER. Henry J was like a cheap model car made, entry-level car that would fit below the things like KAISER and Hudson and Nash and that kind of thing. There's a few other ones I think possibly as well, but the one that you definitely have heard of is Mercedes, as in Mercedes-Benz. Because the name Mercedes, you remember, the company is actually Daimler-Benz. And the thing is, Daimler is actually a company that was partially started by someone named Emil Jalopnik, and Emil Jalopnik had a daughter named Mercedes. They were an Austrian family that started the company, and so Jalopnik actually commissioned Daimler to make, in 1901, the 35 horsepower Mercedes, the car that would take the Mercedes name. And that car became such a big deal. It was such a great car. It became the template for all their further cars, and they continued naming them Mercedes. And then later they merged with Benz. It was Daimler-Benz, but they always kept the Mercedes name. So that's probably the most famous one named after a family member, the famous, of course, Mercedes-Benz. And of course, it's also interesting to note Mercedes, which of course was the car of choice by Hitler, was actually named after a little Jewish girl, because little Mercedes, actually her grandfather was the head rabbi of Vienna, so, fuck off, Hitler. I hope that answers your question, and thanks for asking a car nerd, and again, if you have any questions for car nerds, let us know. Thanks, everybody.